thank you
Absolutely.
guys for joining me. We actually had an opportunity after we went and had our Yanni. Let me back up. Shout out to Ebony Kennard with Phenomenal Yanni and Curves. She gave us an amazing Yanni steaming session today. We had so much fun. It was so educational and spiritual. When I say that girl give you from head to toe,
What?
yes, you walk out of there. I don't know.
Renewed and refreshed.
Yes, renewed and refreshed, and
That's
and
what I'm
and,
talking. Hey,
and
K,
feeling
I'm ready.
energized.
I'm ready, KO. When I
Yes.
get my young.
You ain't got no.
Oh, don't play, because they do it for men too,
You,
JC. They do it for men too.
hey, there you go. There you go. You can come on there. We'll take you next time and get your Yanni. You can sit on there too.
Look,
It,
now when we call you, don't be acting funny.
Hey,
right. Act like you too good to go now. Come on now. Be talking about that. That's for women. Because she
Right.
was great. I mean, she was educational. She told you about everything that she was doing. She had the fresh herbs and all. So it was a really great experience. So I'm glad that we went. I will probably be going back on the regular because I can tell the difference. Ladies, let me tell you, if you've never had your Yanni steamed, and it is exactly
Please do.
as it says, it's your Yanni steamed. It's a wonderful experience, and you do actually feel refreshed and better afterwards. So I do recommend it. So Ebony, I will be coming back. So you guys, y'all can find her on Facebook and Instagram. Phenomenal Yanni and Curves. But back to Big Loves, because after we left our Yanni steam, we stopped by Big Loves and had a smoke with my girl Nakia and her husband Jason, who own their shop. Tell us a little bit about Big Loves, Nakia. Why you sitting on that with that big stick?
While I'm smoking my stick, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
She
Big
like big
Love
things in her mouth.
is a venture between myself and my husband. He has a passion for cigars. I have a passion for people. But as you can see, I have adapted. Um, we are located in North Nashville. The address is 3704 Buena Vista Pike, 37218. We also have a website that is www.biglovesmokes.com. And we are basically a cigar lounge that one of my customers actually described perfectly. We are the living room cigar lounge. We are one big
I can
living
agree
room
with you on
with
that.
a hodgepodge of people
Yes.
that may not know each other, but
Your
before they
family when
leave,
you
they will.
leave. Yes, your
that's right.
family when you
And
leave.
we engage. You can bring your own bottle. As long as you're patronizing the cigar, there's no bottle fee. I'm sorry, as long as you're patronizing the humidor, there is no bottle fee for you to bring your bottle in.
Okay.
If you are not patronizing the humidor, then there's a $10 bottle fee. You sit there and I bring you ice whenever you need it.
Yes, and y'all do wait on people hand and foot. I appreciate the service at Big Loves. I really do.
Nothing but love over there.
Nothing but
We
love.
appreciate it.
Yes.
That is exactly what we want to resemble, is nothing but love.
And you know what? You
Okay.
feel welcome when you come through the door. So I enjoyed my time there with my cousin today. Well,
I
I've been there
appreciate it.
several times. I got shirts and tote bags and everything else. I love me some Big Loves. I didn't find out till today
Duh.
that JC also loved Big Loves. He didn't tell me. How you didn't tell
Uh-huh.
me?
That's what and we found that out conversing today.
Yes.
That
Yes.
we both knew the same people.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But you're a phenomenal man, JC. So we enjoy having your company.
Thank,
Absolutely. And that was
thank
one of
you.
the things we agreed about, JC.
Huh?
That's one of the things we definitely agreed about was that you are a phenomenal guy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm
Yes.
just the people that I hang around. You know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I chose you to be on this show, and that's what I told Nakia. I wanted you to be on this particular segment because of who you are, and I wanted to get your feedback on it. And so I kind of just since I done jumped into it, what we're talking about tonight is physical attraction, really kind of that physical or sexual attraction between male and females, and the tendency for women to think that all men want is sex. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to tell y'all how this came about. I was having a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and I talked to her the night before the show. I told her the show was going to be about her tonight. And she was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Don't worry about it. You're here." So,
You
Well, at
hear me?
least you told us.
right. I forewarned her. So she and I were having a conversation about topics for the next show. And I said, well, I've had great feedback, especially from the guys about some of the tidbits that I had given from the first show about, male, female, and about how they communicate. Thank you, JC, because you was one of the great feedbacks. And I said, so I want to do something similar to that, kind of help the guys out, give them some little tips on women or whatever. And she immediately jumped into yeah, because all they want is, big butts and big titties, and that's all they like, and it's all about physical attraction for them, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, whoa, 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 hold up now. Hold up. I said, my show is all about self reflection. Let's take a step back and self reflect. I said, so why do you feel like that all men want is sex, or they're all about the physical attraction? And she was like, well, every man that I've talked to, that's all they've been about, and they don't want to get to know you as a person, and it's all about the physical, and it's all about sex. And I said, okay. I said, now, is that just men that you've come in contact with or that you've dealt with, or is that every man that you know? And she said, well, I guess the men that I've dealt with. And I said, okay, so let me ask you this question. Is it really that all men want is sex, or are you picking those men that all of they're looking for is sex? And so she kind of took a step back and she thought about it. And she was like, no, I mean, I can't help how I look. I may be sexy and all, and I'm blah, blah, this and I'm blah, blah, that. I can't help how I look. They should take the time to get to know me. And I said, okay, I can agree with you on that. I said, but here's the thing. And so here's where she and I disagree. So this is where I want to get some other perspectives, because I like to get different viewpoints on things to get a full round picture. So here's where she and I disagreed. I said to her, and this is because I've known her for, oh my God, 20 plus years. I said, if you take away, we're going to take away physical appearance, okay? If you take away how you look, and, and she is a beautiful woman, you take that away, you lead with your sexuality. And she says, what do you mean I lead with my sexuality? I said, you lead with sex. It's nothing that you can do about it, because I'm that same way. Like, the number one word people use to describe me is sexy. I can't help it. It's just who I am. It's in how I move. Everything that I do, people find sexy. Whether I'm dancing, walking, it's who I am. And so I was telling to her, you may not be conscious of it, but you lead with your sexuality. So if you're leading with your sexuality and that's what's pulling them in, is it really that all they're looking for is sex, or are they just responding to what you're giving off? Okay.
Preach.
And so what she couldn't seem to separate that, because for me, there's a difference between physical appearance and sexuality. Right. And so sometimes I think that women get so deep off into their sexuality, and because if you think about it, sex sells. We're all about sex in the nation, okay? You turn on the TV, it's all about sex. Music right. videos, movies, it's all about sex. And so we tend to lead with sex, and we use that to get the male attention. So is it fair that if we're using sex to get y'all's attention, for us to stand back later and say, all y'all want is sex?
No, it's not fair.
See, and that's what I couldn't. She kept going. Now, for her, she kept saying, well, I can't help how I look. I can't help if he likes how I look. And I kept saying, but it's not about how you look.
Right. It's how you present yourself.
It's how you present yourself.
Absolutely.
And so, and then she even said, and here's the killer, because she even said, I can't help it that I'm cute. I can't help it that I like attention. I can't help it when I walk in the room, I want to be the baddest bitch in there and everybody got to look at me, I can't help that.
Right.
But if you're aware of it,
right.
Is it really true that you can't help it?
Well, it sounds like she has a whole bowl of isms and ologies going on. and that the fact that she know it and she's taking advantage of it, and then when it don't work out on her behalf, now it's something she can blame it on.
Well, now, yes, I
You
can.
touched on something that I'm going to touch on too, JC. That makes perfect sense to me because
Yes,
I kind of said something similar today.
yeah, and I agree with that because and remember, people, this is about self-reflection, so we're not really going in on her. I don't want anybody to take that, to think that
This
we're
right,
Absolutely not.
right. This
right.
is just an example that we're using, and just so happen if that example touches home to you and it
Mm-hmm,
helps you to self-reflect, and that's what this show is all about, because
mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't see it in that particular aspect. Because I have another friend, I used to tell her all the time, she was a big tease with a capital T, and she was like, no, I'm not. And I said, girl, you like taking the fish, you take the fish out the fish bowl and lay him on the counter, and he can just see the bowl of water right there next to it, and he just flopping around trying to get that water, and you just dangling at it like, you ain't getting this bowl of water, you gonna stay on
Right,
this
right.
counter. And so she couldn't seem to grasp it, because another thing that I've noticed, and please, JC, you, because I can only speak from a female perspective, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I want you on here to give us that male perspective, is that a lot of times women say, oh, he only came back for the sex. Oh, if it wasn't for, if the sex wasn't good, he wouldn't do this, he wouldn't do that. But we use sex as a weapon. We
As a
use sex.
lure,
Yes,
yeah.
we use sex to get what we want. If you want,
Mm-hmm,
if you don't do this, you're not gonna get it. If you do this, then you will get it. So,
mm-hmm.
I mean, can you kind of help us as women to see this from a male perspective, how it comes across to you all, and how it, I guess, your perspective on it, especially when we as females start complaining about, well, all you wanted from us was sex.
Right. Well, there's really two perspectives. There's a male perspective, and then there's a man perspective.
Okay.
Okay, because males were born with penises, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Men have elevated above their penis. They're
Okay.
not as penis orientated. Okay,
Yes.
so what we're looking at right now is we're looking at human beings. And I can only speak
Human
for
nature.
Americans because we live in America and the society that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my perspective is like we all have five senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we tend to lean on a particular sense because that is what we have in reference to what gives us the most gratification, satisfaction. All right. So for those of us who can see, we are visual.
Yes.
Now you have a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm, sapiosexual. I'm, intellectual. Blah blah blah." Right. But in order for them to get into that space where you can be intellectual, you have to have a physical attraction.
100%.
All right. The only difference between a compliment and sexual harassment is if you like him or not.
Preach. Ain't that
Speak.
it?
Yes.
Ain't that it?
Yes. Speak
When they
on it.
claim not to be physical or physically attracted, they're lying. They're
Yes.
lying.
Yes.
So let's own up to that.
Yes.
There's got to be a physical attraction in order for everything else to happen.
100.
So
100.
now that the other things are happening, now are we placing that as a priority or not? Okay, because there has been in my younger days women that I've dealt with only because of how they look.
Okay.
Okay.
Same here when it came to men, so I get
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because
I
I
used
have
to
to
be
be
that person.
physically, yeah, if I'm not physically attracted to you, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So now in my more mature years, I may be physically attracted to you, but once I start speaking to you and I start hearing the red flags, then I have to graciously excuse myself because I already know what was coming behind it. So that's what men do. Males tend to suffer through that just so that they can get the physical satisfaction.
Okay, you just hit on a good point, but before I go, I'm gonna hopefully keep that point in my head because I want to come back to it, because I
Yes, ma'am.
want to go to Nakia, because you and I were talking earlier, and I'm just I am a visual. I'm all about my hands.
Do what you do.
Yes, I'm point. So because you and I were talking earlier at Big Loves, and you
Uh-huh.
mentioned about. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk about what we were talking about at Big Loves.
Okay, so phrase the question again so that everybody hearing understands what your question is,
Yeah,
so that they'll
well, the
understand where I'm going with my answer.
yeah, because the question is about physical attraction, and that is it all that men want is sex, or are women putting it out there? Is that all that we're presenting to them? And you had a good perspective on that.
And I said I think that it's a combination of both. And my reason is, first of all, some women, I won't say all women, because, well, some girls, because everybody hasn't matured to the level to where they can call themselves a woman truly yet. Because you're not really a woman until you've evolved intellectually, and until you're able to do self-reflection for self to understand that you are enough. So I'll start it with that. But the main point that I was making is that a lot of times women don't dress for the type of man that they want to show up.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what I mean by that is, and I'm not gonna say they come out dressed like streetwalkers or anything like that, but they come out dressed very provocatively and showing parts of their body that should be left to the imagination for a man to earn it, instead of them showing it and revealing it freely. So first of all, if I were a male, I'm not, but I have three brothers. I'm the only girl. If I were a male and I had that membrane that I was walking around with, and a woman walked in and she looked like that's what she was showing up for, then that's
That's
probably
how
how
you
I'm
go.
going to treat her.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm not saying that it's okay for men to treat women like they're just meat, but you have to dress for the type of man that you want to approach you.
But here's the thing,
If you want to,
and I agree with you. But here's the thing: now in society, who's to say what is and isn't provocative anymore? Because you see the stars, they have butt ass naked on the red carpet.
Well,
you
you
know
you have
what?
to distinguish
Go ahead.
between. You have to be able to distinguish between the two of reality and entertainment.
That is
Um,
that is very true, but some people aren't able to do that.
and I understand that, and they're going to be on that hamster wheel, and they're going to keep repeating the same mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Dave
Mhm.
Chappelle did a stand up back in his early days where he said that he was out with some friends and he saw a young lady with this really tight dress on and her boobs was hanging out and her butt cheeks was hanging out. He was like, "Damn, baby, what's up? How can a brother get with you?" And she said, "Just because I'm dressed like this don't mean that I'm a loose woman." So he said a couple of weeks later, he was walking down the street in a police uniform. And the same woman was being accosted by some men. And she was like, "Help me, help me, help me. These men are trying to rape me." He said, "Just because I'm dressed like this don't mean I'm a police."
Okay.
So it's
Hello, somebody.
right.
Yes.
So when you present yourself a certain way, just because you have the freedom to do it, don't mean
Physical attribution.
right. You have to take the good and the bad with your choice.
And that
So
is the
Mhm.
key right there. It can
they
be your choice. And that's what
they
self reflection is about. If it is your choice, and
mm-hmm.
this is what I kept trying to explain to my friend, because when I tell you she got extremely upset with me because I said that she led with her sexuality, because she wasn't really, I don't think she was really grasping that, to me
No,
sexuality
he
and
was grasping it. You just made her embrace it.
She didn't want to embrace it. She didn't
Because
want to
What
embrace
because
it.
happened was
go
Karen
ahead.
was holding her responsible.
There you
Karen
go.
was holding her responsible
There you
for
go.
her verbiage and how she tried to communicate her feelings about it. And when
Right.
she called her on the carpet, she didn't necessarily like it. But what I can say to that young lady, though, in full support of, open to have the dialogue, but those are the types of friends you want. You don't
Right.
want friends that are going to agree when they feel like you're not justified in how you feel. You want people
Exactly.
that are going to challenge your mentality to help push you to self-reflect
Right.
so that you can
Right.
elevate to another level so
Right.
that hopefully mentally you can get to a point to where you can catch the type of man that you want. But in order to do that, self-reflection is in order. And when you do the
Exactly.
reflection, you can't just look at it and say it's pretty. You got to make changes and alterations to it.
And even when it's something that you may view as negative, and see, and that was the other thing. From her perspective too, she felt, because I kept telling her she led with her sexuality, that I was meaning that it was a negative thing. And I kept trying to explain to her, I can't fault you for it because I do the same thing. It's who I am. I can't help but
All
to
women
lead.
do.
But here's the difference. I'm aware of it. When you be aware of it, when you're aware of that you're doing something, then you have the ability to make a choice. Because I was having the same problem, and I was like, man, these men out here, all they looking for is sex. I ain't got time for it. Even though, trust me, if y'all know KO and y'all done heard me on the shows, now I love me some sex. I'm the first one to tell y'all I don't have a problem with sex. I absolutely love sex. It is a priority number one on my list, okay? But here's the thing, there's more to me than that. So I
Right.
understand that my sexuality is what pulls him in, and we have that initial physical attraction. He sees
Mm-hmm.
my sexuality that gravitates him to me. But okay, but now I need you to understand that there is more to me than just that. And so what I have a tendency to do, if we're conversating, because I like to talk to people, we're going to conversate. I want to let you be you, and we're going to talk. And if all your conversation is about sex,
Mm-hmm.
that right there lets me know me and you are not on the same
Red
playing field.
flag.
So I'm going to give him that first opportunity, I'm going to say, because I could be wrong. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I don't want to make an assumption with him. And I'm going to say, you know what? Look, I enjoy talking about sex as much as the first person. Love sex. Trust me. I'm not one of them women you're going to have a problem with telling you no. But there's more to me
Right.
than just sex or sexuality. And so if your conversation can't elevate to more than that, we have nothing to talk about. And so if I see that he, even after we've had that conversation and he continues along that path,
Right.
we
You
done.
gave him a warning.
Yes, I gave you a
Right.
warning. I gave you an opportunity. And if you didn't take that opportunity and roll with it, then hey, your loss, not mine.
Right.
So I've had to learn to do that. But I know for a fact in the past what
Mm-hmm.
I had a tendency of doing. And this is why I say about self-reflection. So I'm not sharing anything with anybody that I haven't seen within myself that I self-reflected and saw. That I used to, we crave attention. Everybody wants that attention. Every female wants that male attention to make us feel good, to make us feel pretty, to make us
Mm-hmm.
feel secure and confident in ourselves. And we tend to use our sexuality, as we were discussing earlier. And I found that I would use my sexuality to bring him in. If I felt he was pulling away, then I'd turn that sexuality up even more.
Mm.
But then it would be frustrating me because then I was feeling like all he's coming back for is the sex. Well, that's all
Right.
really I'm putting out there for you to come back for is the sex. So if that's not what I
That,
want,
that,
then that's not what I can. Then that shouldn't be what I put out there. Go ahead. Go ahead, love. Well, Nikia.
True. Well, I guess I agree with what you're saying, but to a degree, all relationships are going to have those ups and downs. That's to be expected for growth,
Yes.
regardless of whether it's a sexual thing, regardless of whether it's you've lost a mental connection with your partner and you have to figure out how to regain that back. But for like, I guess now at this age in my life, because back in the day, I was a hoe, and I ain't afraid to say it. I was a hoe. I was a hoe. I was a hoe. I mean, I stand in it because it's part of my past, and it's helped me through reflection to push forward to now be married. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but and my spouse now, it was not what I am used to. And did I settle? Absolutely not. with this man. Why? Because he treats me like the woman that I deserve to be treated. But that came from first. Was there a sexual attraction at first? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But that wasn't the only attraction. If I can't hold a conversation with you,
right,
I don't want to be with you.
right.
I would rather like you more than I love you, because if I like you, I want to be around you. I can love you from a distance until I get over it.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's the difference in being connected with somebody for the appropriate reasons, and it not just being sex. Now, don't get me wrong, we have a whole lot of sex, but
Listen, I have a
that's
whole
not
lot of
what
sex, but I
holds us
want some
together.
more.
If we can have sex together tomorrow no more, we still be together.
From a male's point of view, the way that I come up, I was always considered sexy, but not necessarily handsome.
Yes,
So
there's a difference. Yes.
that was the compliment. I mean, even as a teenager, oh, he's so sexy, he's sexy, but not necessarily handsome. So because I was a bit of a wordsmith, I'm like, why the fuck I ain't handsome? But I
Why are
had.
you not?
But you are. It's all. It's.
But
You are
this is what I was hearing.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. I do know what you mean.
growing up. You're
Right.
saying growing up as
Yeah.
you were
I would
maturing.
use the sexy to allure and attract women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with that, I would continue to dress a certain way and conduct myself a certain way, and that is what attracted. And then once she basically got within my web, then she started experiencing the different stages and levels of JC. And then now I'm looking at compatibility.
But see, now that's different. That's different from a female perspective. We can't work like that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
let me back up. Let me rephrase that. Not all women can
There
work
we go.
like that, because most of the time, depending on the man that you pulled into your trap, once we've used our sexuality, because
Mm-hmm.
if as you stated earlier, there's a difference between a man and a male, or I can't remember exactly how you put it, but
And
yeah,
it's male, right?
yeah, there's a difference. And so depending on what you pulled in, you attracted, that sexuality is what brought him in, and that sexuality is where he's at and where he's gonna stay. And so it's
Right.
difficult. That's the struggle that a lot of women have, is trying to figure out how to get him past
The
the
balance,
sexy.
the balance, the balance, and that is because, mind you, I've been a boy toy a few times. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it was like, okay, you know, this, after the honeymoon phase, this shit getting old. All
Yes,
right.
I
What
understand.
else what else we gonna do? Where else we're going to match and meet and connect? Okay. So now I'm looking for more. Now, mind you, every dude ain't looking for more.
That is true.
Some dudes are
Exactly.
looking for whatever they can get.
And that's the
They're looking
other
for right now.
That's the
Right.
other thing too. And women will take the time and put their time and energy into a man that ain't really looking for what they looking. And y'all on two different levels, and the female will be so busy trying to build him up and get him to where she feels he needs to be. And then
Right.
he get there, and then he leave her for somebody else. And then she
Right.
mad.
But the
But he was
but the
never yours to
unfortunate
begin with. Yeah. Go ahead, love.
but the unfortunate thing about that is women, exactly what you just said. Women will try and bait and keep a man that says he don't want no woman, and she thinks that sex is gonna make him want to be with her.
Yes.
Right.
And that's where women go wrong. Because once a woman, and I can't speak for men, once a woman gives someone their body, that person has become a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to continue to go around and sleep with man after man after man, you're giving up pieces and pieces and pieces of you each time you do that to different people. So how do you expect to get a whole man when you done given away so many pieces that you're not whole with yourself anymore.
Now
Mm.
see that
You have to.
you make a very good point, but let me say this, because there's two different types of women, and I can understand completely and totally where you're coming from. And I
Mhm.
said this, I believe, on the first show about how men are physical and women are emotional. And so from your
Mhm.
standpoint, when you say that you give a piece of yourself every time that a woman sleeps with a man or has sex with a man, that's from an emotional standpoint. Men are
Mhm.
all physical. Sex to them is all
Mhm.
about the action, and they don't even until a man really, to me, starts to feel you. He doesn't even have he can have sex with you 20 times and he still may not have developed that emotional connection. Where a woman, the minute she gives herself to you, she's got that emotional connection
Right.
to that man, and she's ready to
He has
build on.
to be a developed man. It what we call growth and development.
But
He can just be old enough. He has to be mature enough.
well, here's where I differ. Here's where I disagree and I differ in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to have more of a male mentality when it comes to sex. For me, sex is all a physical thing. It's strictly if if I say to myself, "You're nothing but a boy toy," or our relationship is strictly a physical relationship, there's no
Mm-hmm.
emotional attachment. It doesn't matter. I'm like a man. It doesn't matter how many times we've gone down that road, you're still in that same box. I mean, we may be friends, we're still cool. Don't get me wrong. I care about you as a person,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have that emotional attachment. I'm developing love.
But who's to
Those,
say that's just a male attribute?
but I'm just saying because it's mostly men who are capable of doing that, because men are more physical and equate sex to a physical act, where
Says
women,
who?
well, you tell me, you a man. So every
No,
time,
I mean you said it, so you must have something to back it up.
hey, most men I know, most men that I have come in contact with have all been about the physical. This is where we get to the problem where uh, we
Is it
have
just the men you know or all men?
now. Hey, all men. No, let me tell you, I am the type. Now I have a particular type that I am attracted to. I'm attracted to that alpha male. So you're
Yes, ma'am.
right. Most of the men that I choose are all about the physical. There
Mm-hmm.
are men that are, as some females, the minute they have sex, they have that emotional attachment. I will be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you. When I run across those men, it's a red flag, and I immediately cut them off. I
Mm.
do. I am not the. See, we done got on a whole nother subject, but I am not. I am not the emotional man type. If you come off
Right.
too clingy to me,
Right.
and you got what I call female tendencies, and you come off too
Right.
clingy to me, you immediately get cut off. That's a turn off to me, and I can't.
But that's not really a you it's that's not really just a male deal. That's just a a persona, a
It,
characteristic.
it definitely is a. I agree. I
So
agree.
I
and
mean,
I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
Because like I'm not big on what they call what's the damn things astrology. I'm not big on
mhm.
astrology,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a Cancer, and they say that the sun shine on a dog ass at least twice a day. You know what I'm saying?
uh,
So it will at least hit some points.
Right.
You know, and one of the things with
right.
Cancer, I love hard. I love hard. You know what I'm saying?
Tauruses love hard too. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
Very. As am
I
I.
ain't no damn fool either. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I don't love that hard to be a fool anymore. I used to be a damn fool.
Well,
I
I
used to be
mean,
the
hey,
damnedest
we all
Me
listen.
too.
We have all been a fool for somebody. Trust
clean.
me when I
So
say
it's
I
not
have been a
as,
fool for somebody. Mm-hmm.
not
Yes.
astrological.
Yes, I have. I
All
have
I'm
been a fool.
saying is that um, with growth and development, we supposed to do better.
Yes.
We supposed to do better. So a lot of us are not doing better because we stuck.
But it's a
We don't
vicious
make the
cycle.
hard decisions. We don't want to make. We don't want to do what we should be doing or what we could be doing. We do what we can be doing.
We do what we think a society will allow us to do. But that's another subject.
Right.
That's another
You
topic.
got you
Yeah.
got like 4 more topics in this conversation.
Yes. That's another topic about what people do. But we gonna go back to the because you're gonna get me off. That's a whole. I could get started on that. That's a whole nother topic. But anyway, but what you said about it is a persona or a role. I guess for me is really more so all about knowing who you are and doing that self reflection.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I self
And
reflect,
taking constructive criticism from your peers that are closest to you too.
and absolutely, because I'm gonna tell you, here's the funny thing. Now I've said this before. I have a friend. I'm single all day long, but hey, I have needs. I have a friend. I have no issues with saying I have a friend. And even though I have a friend, I still date. I still meet people because my ultimate goal is to meet somebody one day, uh, and see where it goes. But
Mm-hmm.
as I'm dating and I'm meeting, and this is so funny because I actually, when I come across an issue or I have something or somebody says something to me, I'll ask him like, "Do I do this? Do I come across that way?
Right.
Do you see me in that light? Can you understand why he said that? Because I want to learn how men
If you don't
perceive
know
me.
the answer, you should not be asking the question to an unknown.
He's not an
That's what I
unknown.
learned. That's what I learned.
No, she's talking about she's asking the questions that her dates are asking to her friend that does know her. Is that what I
Yes. I'm
understood?
asking that question to someone who knows me. So say for
Okay.
instance, I had went out on a date with you, JC, and you were like, Karen, you do such and such and such and such and such. And when you do this, and I'll be like, well, why would JC say that about me? I don't see that. I don't understand why he would say that. So then I would go to him and I'd be like, do you do you see that? Do you understand why he would say so? I'm getting that advice from somebody who knows me.
Okay.
So he's
Okay.
Yeah.
your sounding board. He's your
Yes.
sounding board.
Yes. And
Right.
he'll and
Basically,
he
he's your friend, but you guys are open enough to
right.
have the hard conversation so that
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you two can figure out. But see that comes with maturity. Everybody hadn't gotten there yet.
Yes, and you had that is so true. That is something that I'm hoping that this show helps to bring about because one thing about it, there's no right or wrong, and there's always two sides to every story or every decision. It's just up to you how you choose to roll with it. So if you do your self reflection and you identify something about yourself, and I've said this before, if you identify something about yourself that you feel is negative, first ask your question to yourself, why do you feel that it's negative? Why do you think, that it's negative about yourself? Now, but once you're aware of it, now you have a choice. You can either act on it or you can continue to allow those people to see you in that light. But once you decide that or make that decision that I'm okay with people seeing me that way, you can't complain about it. And so
Right.
that's what I kept
Exactly.
trying to say to her. If you want people to see you as the center of attention and you all of this, and when you walk into the room, you want to be seen and you this and you that, and you understand, well, in her mind it was they were jealous or they were intimidated or they were this or they were that. If you want people to continue to see you in that light and you're comfortable with people seeing you that way and dealing with that, then you have no choice to make. You good, but you can't complain about it because now you're aware of why people see you that way.
Right. That's
Can I say
competitive.
something?
That's what.
That is
Go
a
ahead.
perpetual state of competitiveness.
For most women, yes.
But you know what? To me, it sounds like it's more of a self-esteem issue for her,
Oh, it,
because, or not just for her, but for individuals who thrive off of being the center of attention. There is some esteem issues there because you need that to feel better about yourself.
if I would necessarily say that because I like to have the attention sometimes.
I mean,
It's
having
Okay,
attention and
it's
competing with
one
others
thing.
are two different things.
that well, and see, but here's the thing, because you know, all everybody is a little bit different when they come to their. That depends on your level of security and confidence within
I
yourself.
mean, but that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah, because see, to be honest now, and Nakia will tell you, I have no issues if I see another beautiful woman. If I think you're gorgeous or you have a nice shape or whatever, I'll be the first one, baby. You are absolutely beautiful. Your eyes are beautiful. Whatever it is
Yep.
about that woman that I see that I think is gorgeous, I'm going to compliment her on it because I don't see
Mhm.
other women as competition. Like we all apples and oranges, honey. You beautiful in your own
What's for
way.
you is for you.
Right.
What's for
And
me is
I
for
am
me.
beautiful in my own. And so that just means I'm comfortable in who I am. And
Right.
so,
So that's not meant for you. What we're talking about is not meant for a woman that's comfortable
yeah.
in in her in herself.
Yeah.
What we talking
Yeah.
about
Well, I
is
was just
those
saying, cause
who trying to
sometimes,
be the baddest bitch on the motherfucking spot, and those who is trying to make sure that uh who
They are
she
seen.
is
and
exactly.
there are
So
plenty of
again,
them. There are
that's
plenty of them.
women and females.
That is true.
Y'all have a problem as men and men.
Absolutely.
There you go. See, that's why I had you on the show today, JC, so that you can help break that down for us and show. Because let me tell you, I 100% understood why she felt the way she felt, but
Mm-hmm.
I was having difficulty getting her to understand a different perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
I got her viewpoint, and I kept
Right.
telling her, "So you're not understanding what I'm saying. I get your viewpoint, and I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying to you is that now that you're aware that you feel like men, uh, that's all they want from you is sex. Is that what you're putting off? And if that's what you're putting out there, then take a step back and 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 change your approach." And so she thought I kept saying to change how she looked, and she was like, "How can I change how I look? I can't change. I can't help my appearance. I can't help how I look." And I'm like, "I'm not talking about
Because
physical appearance."
that's where her esteem issues are. If she keeps going
Right.
back to that same
Yes,
thing,
she kept
Right.
and
going
that's
back to
not
her
even what
physical.
you're touching on,
Yes,
that's her issue. So she feels like there's some imperfection in her head, whereas I could probably see her walking down the street and look at my husband and be like, "Dang, babe, look at her. She's bad than a woman." You
she
know,
is a
that's
beautiful
just what we
lady.
do.
She is a
But
beautiful
if
lady.
she, it, it's something else.
Yeah.
Look, I have a degree in comparative religion. I used to debate people in reference to religion. And when I tell you religion is one of the most intimate subjects that you can talk to people about. Now,
Controversial. Woo.
That is
right.
one.
So
That is one
if
subject I do not discuss with people.
and I understand that.
Yeah.
And I know now. But on the flip side of the coin, we're looking at how a person views themselves.
Yes.
Okay. So now what you're trying to do is show them something that they don't necessarily see, but that they project.
Yes.
You're trying to paint that picture for them so they can accept it
Yes.
and
Exactly. That
reflect on it.
be a task. That is not a one-off situation. So
Mhm.
every conversation you've ever had with that person will support your argument. Okay. So what you're doing is you're trying to show them, hey, the way that you achieve self-esteem isn't self; it's outside, not inside.
It is.
So you have to be able to have patience with them because you're not going to be able to do it in one conversation.
Oh
And
no,
Oh yeah.
it won't
Yes.
take it be more than
Yeah.
two,
Oh
three,
yeah.
four,
Yes.
five. It may be years.
Yeah. And
it's going to
well,
take whatever it takes. But
self-reflection is a daily thing. You do it every day. You grow and you
right,
learn about yourself daily. So yeah, there's
right. But
never
I'm
going to be
saying,
a
as
point
far
you
as
know
you
everything.
being the alarm clock,
Oh yeah. And
waking them
I'm
up to themselves, it's going to take. Okay, you see what you're doing? All right, now look over here. if someone else is doing it, how would you classify them?
Yeah, she gonna call me about
There you
this.
go.
I hear from her tomorrow. If she watched the show tonight, I hear from her tomorrow.
But I mean, it is what it is. But
But
like
you're being a true
I say,
friend, and she should, if anything, appreciate that.
you're
Yeah,
right.
and
But
again, y'all, I want everybody to know we are not just slamming her. I don't want y'all to think I came
no,
on this show to slam her friend.
No.
Yeah,
there's
no.
many people going through this.
Right,
There's
right.
many people that is suffering through this, male, female alike.
You are
I
absolutely
know
right.
dudes who lead with their money and then
Yes. Ooh,
bitch
that is a
by motherfuckers
major
who
turn
only
off.
come at them because they got money.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yep.
Yes.
dude,
Yes.
you didn't put that shit out there like that.
Yes.
So you can't help but get it back like that. It's the boomerang theory.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
Out like that, it's coming back like that.
Yes.
So if you're
Mhm.
not balanced, you unbalanced.
Yes.
It's real simple.
But you know what? I applaud your friend KO for even having the conversation with you, because some people won't come and have those types of conversations with their friends out of fear of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
That
So
is true.
for her, so in my mind, in my heart of hearts, even though I don't know this young lady, for her to have the conversation with you, she sees something. She just needed you to give her the direction
Yes.
for her to start healing and making changes for herself.
Yes. And the thing
And,
about it
and
though,
that's commendable.
that is commendable. But here's the thing: when you start on your journey, and I have to say, I'm keep saying this over and over, when you start on your journey of self-reflection and you ask people, because only through true self-reflection, because a lot of people say I self-reflect all the time. True self-reflection means you're including other people. You're not
Mm,
just sitting back telling yourself what you think about
right.
yourself. You're actually
Right.
listening to what other people
You're getting
think of,
feedback.
right, think about you, and then taking a step back and realizing, okay, there may be some truth to what they say, because I keep saying, and I've said it several times, if you keep having the same problem with different people, the only common denominator is you. So you have to take a step
Hello,
back,
somebody.
yes, and take a look at yourself. And so I always try to do that now, and it's not easy. It's not
Right.
easy at
But
all.
it takes what? Growth
Yes,
and
yes,
development.
yes,
You can't
yes.
just be an old first grader. you, you know what I'm
that
saying?
that is
You
true.
got to develop too.
Yes, it
Right.
takes
You
time.
have to realize that we all have flaws.
Yes, and be accepting of those flaws. And that's
Accepting of
what,
those
and
flaws
she was so
and in
stuck on,
pursuit
yes,
of making it better.
right, but she was so stuck
Absolutely.
on perceiving it as a negative thing
Right?
that she couldn't see this was an opportunity to take a
Now,
step back
she couldn't
and
admit.
and look at it, right, and admit it, because
Right?
she was stuck on,
And she
she,
probably saw it.
wait a minute, and
She
she
just
even, and
worked
I'm gonna
with
have
what
to,
she worked with.
I can't wait because she gonna comment, because she even had the nerve to tell me that I needed to self-reflect on why I judged her. And
Mm,
I said, judged you? I'm not
mm.
judging
Yeah,
you.
that's a defense mechanism.
Yes, yes, she flipped it
That's a
right back
defense.
on me. She turned on her defense
There's
mechanism.
other
Yes,
there's other underlying
But
issues.
it's
yes.
That's what
cool.
that
It's
tells you
cool.
there's other issues.
But you know what? But I'm the type, you know how I am. I don't pay no attention to stuff like that. I just keep it moving. Girl, you ain't, and I kept telling her, I said, see, you trying to deflect. That's what I kept telling her. You trying to deflect.
Exactly.
And you can't
Di-
deflect over here, boo. I don't need to self-reflect. We talking about you. So yeah.
distracting by distraction.
Yes, but you're not finna distract me.
Absolutely.
I'm like a dog with a bone. When I get a hold to it, we gonna keep going and going and going until we get to the marrow. I'm gonna figure this one out.
Arrow.
Right.
God damn it.
Yes, I want some marrow. We gonna keep going.
But that marrow fine now. That marrow fine.
It's living
It's
life
changing. It's ever
for
changing.
the life.
Yes, give you that good flavor. We gonna get to the middle of it and figure it out. Yes. So, but
We're
when
gonna get to the good.
we gonna get to the gut of it. When I tell you, but thank you though, JC, for helping us, giving us a little bit more of a male perspective on it, because it's, I can say it as a female and say, hey, if you dangling it out there, that's what they gonna come from. But
Man, every time.
yeah, if you dangle it
Well,
out there,
I like to say from from the man perspective,
Man
but I
perspective.
will delve into the male because I consider myself evolved.
Yes.
I consider myself evolved. So, I'm not just a base creature. I am a male who has grown up and developed.
And
So,
You are seasoned. You are
100,
seasoned, JC.
100%.
I call it
I
what it is, seasoned.
I
My
also
brother is
want to say
seasoned,
too,
seasoned man.
right. I also want to say too, I don't want people to think that we're saying physical attraction is not important, because it is. It is
very important,
100%
very important,
important. It
but
is
it's
the
more to
Yeah,
it.
it is the first line of communication,
First line of
because if
communication.
there's not a
Just like
physical attraction, you're not getting
your
anywhere.
five senses.
Yes. Yes.
If you don't use all five senses, then what you have done is cheated yourself.
And I use all my senses.
That makes
Use
sense.
all your senses.
All my senses. And if you can't satisfy all of them, we can't make it nowhere. I'm sorry.
Look, if you can't confront,
Right.
if you cannot confront a situation, then you are a victim laying in waiting.
That's an
You have
interesting
to be able to
perspective.
Makes sense.
confront. And confrontation doesn't always mean a fight. You just
Yes.
try to establish an
Yes.
understanding.
Yes. Yes.
The underlying, yep.
Yes.
It
And if
makes
you
perfect
don't
sense.
have understanding, you got confusion.
Absolutely.
And I ain't got time for no confusion.
And that's where it all comes in, miscommunication. Especially when
Miscommunication.
people
Yep.
communicate differently. And, and
Right.
and men and women most definitely communicate differently. So
Right.
yeah, that miscommunication, because we just being cute, and they looking at, oh, she wants some, and and then she's thinking, oh no, I just wanted to get dressed up and be cute to get your attention, and
Well,
he's
you,
thinking,
you
yeah,
you got levels of
yes,
existence. You got an animalistic, you got a heightened level, then you got an elevated level. In an animalistic existence, all they trying to do is seek pleasure and avoid pain.
and that's just about everybody. We are
Right.
all
And that's
animals.
most people. But then when
Hmm.
you elevate it, now you trying to establish an understanding. And then when you elevate above that, now you try to establish a totality.
But you can't get there, people, without starting with that first step, which is a physical attraction. So
Yeah.
we ain't saying it's going away. It's the first step. But it's all, like JC said, it's all in what you do with it after. Once you
You
bring him
do it.
in,
You're going to stay there or you're
And,
going to
yeah,
you're going to grow and
yep.
develop or you're going to remain.
absolutely.
And
Cause
women need to dress how they want to be addressed.
Ooh.
but here's the thing though. Wait a minute though. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now I got to speak on that one, because sometimes, depending on the woman's,
You say sometime.
sometimes I'm gonna say sometimes, because I can't speak for all women.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, because I've come out covered and still got that sexual. So sometimes it's just a woman. It's
And that's okay.
It's fine.
That's a different type of attention though.
wait a
See,
minute.
you're missing it, Kato.
Will, you can't be over here making me laugh.
I can tell. Hit him with a tranquilizer.
He's supposed to be over here silently producing and then turn around whispering to me and shit. You can't be.
That boy silly.
But anyway, but no. But yeah, I mean, I have some women, just we can't help it. We
It is what
But
it is.
you're talking about being covered and still exuding sex appeal.
Yes,
If
That's
you're a woman and you can be covered and you can still exude sex appeal,
because
then you're doing something right, my girl.
I'm
right.
sexy. It's just who I
That's
am.
what you're looking for.
I'm sexy is who I
Right.
am. But I'm just saying
But
it's not always what you have on, cuz even when I put on a business suit, I'm still sexy as hell in my business suit. I can have on a 3-piece suit, I'm still going to be sexy.
That is the
but
that
I'm referencing that to her question though about, is all men want is sex, or so if dress how you want to be addressed. If you want to be addressed in a sense that you're exuding sex appeal, like you want a man to want you, and you come out dressed with your titties hanging out, and
With
your
your
ass
boobies up, but
cheeks
I
cut
ain't
in your
got no boobies.
jeans,
Right.
and or your shorts is all the way up to your coochie crack to where it looks like you're gonna get a
Yes.
yeast infection. Like, what you think you're gonna try?
Well, but you know what? Okay, and for one, I don't dress that way. However, and
Point made.
that kind of goes back to, again, society has changed. This generation is new.
It's
This
ever evolving.
this
It's
new
always evolving.
generation is all about
You
freedom
got
of speech,
school,
freedom of
old school.
sexuality, freedom of everything. Nothing is taboo with
Everything
this new.
you got to participate in.
It doesn't even matter. They don't care. Just jumping in, jump off the diving board. They don't even know how much water is in there. They don't care. So this new generation is different. So to say, that's why I kind of I have to take a step back with the dressing, because what's appropriate now for dressing, when we were growing up, like you were saying now, Nakia, we wouldn't have never. My mama would have. Where the hell you going with your booty hanging out the bottom of them shorts? I used to tell my kids that they grown up. Wait a minute, baby. Them shorts is a little too short, before you leave the house. But nowadays, it's a standard.
But you can only warn them. You can't, like you say, you can't make them. You can only warn them.
Cause you see,
And
and this is a whole nother subject, but this is one of my biggest pet peeves, is when you see and they got them babies dressed like little thoughts. As I'm gonna call them, I'm gonna say
Um,
the word thought.
you can only warn
um,
Ooh,
that.
I'd be like,
You
ooh,
can't make
baby,
with the Daisy Dukes on and the Uggs,
yes,
like little 3-year-old kids. Daisy
right.
yes,
Dukes, Ugg boots, and
yes.
hair wraps with their hand on their hip, poking their lips out.
They
Now,
even
come
No,
on now.
got
So
the
you,
bitches and weave and all that shit before the time. And all I'm saying is that you can only warn them. That's all you can do. You can warn them, and then hopefully, if there was a mistake, they learn from it. If
that
not,
that is true. That is,
what
hey.
you do?
So I guess what we can take from today's show is, as Lovely said, dress. And you know what? And I mentioned this on my very first show, Nakia, and I don't know if you saw that one. And if y'all notice, I keep switching back between Lovely and Nakia. So let me, so people won't be confused, because she also is on the motorcycle set. So her set name is Lovely. So that's why I keep saying Lovely, because I know her from the set as well. So y'all hear me going back and forth. I can't help it. But and I talked about this on my first show. Dress for where you want to be, especially with people at work. You dress for where you want to be, not for where you are. And so
Right.
that's something I've always stuck with. And then speaking of the set, because even Lovely will tell you, well, Nikita, I'll stop that. Nikita will tell you, when I come on the set, I'm cute. I dress for, hey,
yeah,
I'm cute. I'm always cute on the set, but you ain't gonna catch me with my boobs out and the booty cheeks hanging and all of that extra that some people you may see on the set, but you're not. Hey, I dress for where I want to be, not for where I am. But so you have a good point.
exactly.
Dress for the man that you want. If you want that
That
man in
part.
that 3-piece suit, then hey, then you need to be dressing that part of a woman that would be on the man's arm in a 3-piece suit. So you
Carry yourself as such.
yeah,
Carry yourself like that.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, but when I say I appreciate you guys coming on the show this evening, all of the energy y'all had to pep me up, because when I tell you I am tired from celebrating my cousin's birthday today. We have
It was
been,
worth it though.
yes, we have been going since 8 o'clock this morning, because we went to breakfast before we went to the Yanni, then we went and ate. So I just wanted to make sure that she really,
And y'all came to see me.
yes, and we came to Big Loves and all. So I want to thank you guys for coming on my show and chatting with KO on Red Wine Conversations, even though I had water tonight because I've been drinking all morning. If you guys
I had a Jack and Coke.
hey, make sure you guys, if you're listening, check out Big Loves. She's got her Facebook
Yes,
page, Big Love
yes.
Smokes. Also, JC's Wake
Yes.
Up with JC, the administrator. Yes, he will educate you on Tuesday nights. Yes. What time is your show? 7, JC?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock on
7
Tuesday,
p 7 p.m. Central.
Central Time. Yes.
You
And
have to send me a link so I can at least log in and listen.
yes, I think we had a little bit of a trouble getting up on Facebook tonight, but I will send the link. We'll get the video up and add it onto the page. So definitely share it on Big Loves. Also, again, shout out to Miss Ebony Kennard with Phenomenal Yanni and Curves.
Yes.
Appreciate your
Love
service.
her.
Hey, if you guys enjoyed the show, please subscribe and follow me. You can follow me on speaker.com, also on Facebook and Instagram. And I also have a YouTube channel page. You can catch Red Wine Conversations. Hey, if you got something you want to hear us talk about, if you want to be a guest on the show, whatever, give me a call, let me know. I'm always open to subjects. Now, this is the last show for 2020. We'll be back in 2021. We got a lot of big things coming with Brown Brother Productions. I can't wait. Can I say we got movie? We working on a movie. I can't wait. I'm so excited, especially y'all see your girl in the movie. Get ready. Y'all
That's
know I'm
right. That's
y'all
right.
know I'm gonna act a fool. But but thank you guys again, and please subscribe and follow Red Wine Conversations, everybody. Yes, this has been a Brown Brothers production. I'm excited. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. We off? Okay. Just Whew. When I tell you I'm tired, I'm so ready to go to bed.